Yes, Tolu Ogunjobi is standing by. Tolu.
Thank you so much, Precious. The Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria and the Nigerian Actuarial Development Program have raised concerns over the severe shortage of actuarial professionals in the country, warning that the gap poses risk to credible financial reporting in key sectors such as insurance, banking, and healthcare. We have more in this report.
As the economy continues to expand, concerns are rising over the shortage of financial experts. To address this gap, the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, FRC, is taking the lead in promoting actuarial education and capacity building. That's why the Executive Secretary and CEO of FRC, Rabiu Olowo, is at the University of Benin in Edo State to drive up awareness on the Actuarial Development Program.
We have less than 28 qualified actuaries in Nigeria today. That cannot support the $1 trillion economy that we are looking at. That cannot support the economic emancipation that Nigeria has in terms of GDP figures. We have about more than 200 universities in Nigeria today. Less than 8 offer this particular course. So we see it as a problem, and that is going to affect the future success of Nigeria. And we'll begin to address this gap by coming to universities, giving awareness, doing advocacy, so that students can understand what is actuarial science and what the profession has in it for them.
There's an interface, a very big connection between what certain professionals do as it relates to financial reporting. And actually, they are very, very key. As one of those, we must rely on their work in the entire financial reporting space. But then we now observe over time that there's a big gap, huge gap in terms of core professionals, those we can call actuaries.
For many, this advocacy outreach reflects the FRC's strong commitment to strengthening actuarial education and developing industry capacity.
If you look at any profession in Nigeria, there is no regulator that says he wants to pay for the examination fee. We don't do it for accountants, we don't do it for auditors, we don't do it for tax practitioners, we don't do it for lawyers. But this is because we are in crisis now. So NADP has taken up upon itself to support them. So all the hurdles that affect the development of actuarial profession or being qualified is what NADP, Nigerian Actuarial Development Program, wants to remove.
With the Financial Reporting Council and its key partners championing this sensitization initiative, there is no doubt that the actuarial profession in Nigeria is set to gain the momentum it needs to thrive in the near future.
All right, stocks dive today and investors scrambled for safety of bonds, gold and the yuan, fearing new U.S. tariffs have intensified a trade war threatening to tip the world into recession. The dollar was swept to a 6-month low, falling along with U.S. bond yields after President Donald Trump imposed tariffs that raised effective import taxes to the highest levels in a century. Nasdaq futures dropped 3.2%, European futures were down nearly 2%, and Nikkei fell 3%, falling Tokyo's touching 8-month low, fed heavy losses across Asia. Apple's market capitalization fell by more than $240 billion as its shares slid 7% in after hours of trade. Nvidia's market cap dropped 5.6%, or about $153 billion. Meanwhile, the stock market reversed trend of losses and moved a little into the positive territory following renewed interest in stock picks. The market index recorded 0.01% at the close of transactions, meaning mild improvements in price recovery for some investors. Top price gainers was African Prudential Insurance with 9.76% performance. Other gainers were Guinea Insurance, Mansard Insurance, RT Briscoe, and Transcorp Hotels. Now, the price decliners included Livestock Feeds, PZ, Mutual Benefits, UACN, and Quartix. Now to other news, Transcorp Hotel PLC has posted a revenue of 70.13 billion naira for the 2024 financial year, marking a 69% increase from 41.46 billion naira in 2023. This was disclosed by the company at its 11th annual general meeting in Abuja. We have more in this report.
The 11th annual general meeting of Transcorp Hotels saw stakeholders in attendance with presentation of annual financial reports, dividends and approval of appointments. The company saw a huge profit in the year under review. Beyond revenue growth, profit before tax increased to 22.61 billion naira, representing a 138% year-on-year increase. Additional Transcorp Hotel stock price increased by 65%, closing at 116 naira per share on December 31st, 2024, reinforcing its position as one of the most attractive stocks on the Nigerian exchange. The company distributed a total dividend of 74 kobo per share for the 2024 financial year, including a financial dividend of 64 kobo per share and 10 kobo per ordinary share paid at half-year 2024. This reflects the company's strategic focus on pricing optimization, enhancing guest experience and operational efficiency despite Nigerian challenging economic environments.
Today we've approved 64 kobo, making it 74 kobo. When you compare that with the 2023, when we paid only 20 kobo to shareholders, that's a 270% increase. And so we'll continue to sustain that. We are constantly returning dividends to shareholders because they are the owners of the company.
The shares of Transcorp PLC it started in lower level, but the shares touch 100 naira. So that is what shows sign and signal that the company is doing great.
On its economic outlook and growth strategy for 2025, Mr. Inoram said Transcorp Hotel is well positioned to capitalize on increased tourism, consumer spending and foreign direct investments, which is forecasted to exceed $5 billion, especially with Nigerians' projected GDP growth rate and inflation moderation.
Because there's nothing as discouraging as the guests coming in and it's taking so long to check in. So we're going to ensure that their check-in process is seamless, and then when they get into their room, they will feel like they're the only guest in the hotel.
As part of its next phase of growth, Mrs. Uzuamaka Oshogwe's appointment was confirmed as the new managing director of Transcorp Hotels, succeeding Mrs. Dukbe Olushola.